In this session, I will take a look at modeling a sloped roof for the building. Now, I've already created a separate file, afloorroof.dgn, so I'll model the roof in a separate file, and that will just become part of our reference tree like each of the floor models. It also gives you the advantage, perhaps you're looking at a couple different alternates for the roof, and you could model those in separate files and then simply switch out the reference files in the final model. So far I've referenced a short wall in this model just to give our roof a little extra height. I've modeled that at 2 feet high, but ultimately we will adjust that height to meet the underside of the sloped roof. So in order to create a sloped roof, I basically need a 2D closed shape that represents the outer outline of the roof at its bottom plane. So in order to draw that shape, I can simply trace my wall here, but I want to make sure I have it at that bottom plane of the roof, so I have to decide what that plane is. Now, if you recall, when we set up our floor manager, we did create a reference plane for the roof, which I called parapet. I'm going to select that reference plane. You'll note that puts that grid up. It's basically 3 feet above our roof plane, a little bit higher than the wall I created there. And that's where I'm going to draw the bottom of the sloped roof. So the first step is to draw that 3D shape. So I'm going to use the Smart Line tool. Now I could draw this on any level, assuming I'm going to delete the shape as a construction. If I wanted to save it, I might perhaps want to draw it on something like a non-plot layer. So I might set this to Giano non-plot, select a color for it. I kind of like, a color I can read well, and I usually bump up the weight just so that I can see it in the model. Of course, I want to make sure my ACS plane and plane snap lock are on so that I know I'm drawing that line at this plane, even though I'm going to be snapping to the top of my wall here. I'm just going to start here in this corner, and I'm going to snap to the outer corner of the wall. Note it projects that point up. And then I'm just going to use my AccuDraw, lock my axis, and keep selecting the corner points of the building. So now I've got that closed shape. Of course, probably want my roof to have some type of eave, so I'm going to just move parallel that shape by a distance of 5 feet. So now it extends out beyond the wall of my building. And now I'm ready to actually create the 3D roof. So I'm going to go on the Architectural tab and select the Roof tool. Now you might have a list of different roof types available. I'm going to use just this example roof. The only real difference here between these are the thickness of the roof that will be created. We can control the slope of the roof either by rise and run. You could put in an angle. You can use a percentage. So I'm going to select the rise and run, and I'm going to use a slope of 3 to 12. I also have an option to apply slope to all sides. If I would to select that option, I would simply be creating a hip roof. If I don't select it, then I can manually select the sides of the roof that I wish to slope. So I'm going to leave that unchecked. This particular roof will have a thickness of 1 foot. I could also select a part definition. I'm going to pull that down. So right now it's just a default roof covering, but I might have other options available. Slate shingles. Now on my placement options, I can determine whether I want a gable roof or a gambrel roof. We're going to simply select gable. We're going to place by shape and place from the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on to delete the construction. That way it'll delete my 2D shape. Now I'm going to select the 2D shape. And I recommend you follow your prompts in the lower left-hand corner. So we've selected the shape. Next we want to select sides that we wish to apply the slope to. So for instance, I could select the major sides of the building. And then if I want this piece over the entry to be a gable, I would select the two sides but not the front. Once the arrows are correctly indicating the sides I want to slope, if you've inadvertently selected one you didn't want, you simply select it again. It's basically a toggle. Then I will just come into the view and right click, and that creates the roof. Now once that roof is created, I would like to take those walls and adjust them so that they go up to the underside of that roof. So I'm going to go back to the Modify tool. I'm going to select Modify Walls. I'm going to do the modify the height of a form, but rather than adding a distance, I'm going to select to form or shape as the method. Again, I suggest you follow the prompts in the lower left. So the first instruction is to identify the form or shape to connect to, so that would be our roof. And then it's asking that you accept that shape, so that's just a second data point in space. And then it actually wants a reset to continue, so you right click. Now you can select the forms that need to be modified. So that means I just want to go around the building and select the walls. And when that's finished, I can right click. Let me rotate this view where we can see that. You can see now that that wall meets the underside of my roof on all sides. So now my roof model is complete and we're ready to assemble the Discipline Master model.